Good morning, everyone. I'm just waiting for the connection on Facebook, so I do apologise. Here we go. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this sunny day, sunny in Melbourne, although it's chilly, so you can see that I'm rugged up in my woolly jumper. It is Friday after all. Today I wanted to chat to you about taps. This has come up quite a few times. I sort of hear it around understanding the tapwear to choose. And what I really wanted to chat to you, because there's so many different aspects to taps, and I know I've had a conversation in the past around black tapwear. Is it going? Is it staying? All the other colours of tapwear that you can choose. And interestingly, I was with a client yesterday and we were looking at living bronze. And we had the conversation around whether that was, going to date or, the common question that gets asked. I think people get so obsessed with, are we choosing things that are going to date? And I will always go back to what I always go back to, which is if it's your ever forever home and you absolutely love it, stop stressing out about things that are going to date. But anyway, I digress, as I often do. We were looking at the living brass, and it's such a solid piece of metal, and the brand that we're looking at is actually made in Australia, which is fantastic. It's actually made in Victoria. And we were just talking about the fact that it's a living product. So when you touch it over time, the colour changes. It'll start to, that bronze effect, like any bronze, it starts to have elements that are shiny. And what a beautiful thing to have in your home. And so this whole dating aspect actually becomes irrelevant. It's so in keeping with their home, which is a Victorian home, and they're doing a really modern extension out the back. It's so in keeping with the industrial feel that they wanted to have, a sort of a nod to the industrial aspect. And it's also sort of in line with this embracing natural products at the moment and embracing things that, and I talked about this a few weeks ago, about the trends evolving. Hi, Carolyn. And that, embracing things that are not necessarily perfect. And I know not everyone is going to love something that is going to change over time. It's not for everyone, but how perfect it was for this client. And I was just so happy seeing everything together. So have a look at living products if the living metals, ones that will tarnish or change over time, pardon me, because they just add another element to your home. So taps and accessories. So what I wanted to chat to you about was choosing a tap, but making sure, so you might choose a range and you really like a particular brand and a particular style. Great. What you need to make sure about is that you are choosing one then that's going to have all the different elements, all the different components that you need to deck out your house. Because as I've spoken about before, your tap range should really be the same throughout, except your kitchen, and you could probably even push that your laundry doesn't need to have the same range. So if, for example, you've got a particular one in mind, make sure that they have, what you need. So, for example, you may have a shower over the bath, which means you need a mixer with a diverter. Do they have that option? Do they have wall-mounted options? Do they have basin-mounted options? So depending on all the elements that you need to make sure that they cover that all in that range. Not all ranges will have every component. You may then want to make sure that it's got a gooseneck option, that there's one, and I've seen people get caught out on this many times, where they've got a bath, they need a spout that's longer than normal, particularly if you've got a freestanding bath, and so you need to make sure that in that range they have got the spout that's available in the extended spout option. So it's just really important that what you're choosing is, yes, okay, that's great for this basin, but for the rest of the house, you've got it all ticked off. That also extends to your showers. So the key here is you don't necessarily have to have the same brand, but if it's quite a specialised product and the finish is quite specialised, as I was talking about with the living bronze, you need to make sure then that that is available in a shower format as well. Otherwise, you'll have taps that are different to your showers, and that's not going to look cohesive in the scheme. So if it is quite specialised in terms of its shape or the colour that you're choosing, you need to make sure then that it's available in a shower that you really like. Showers are really personal. Some people are not that fussed with how fast the water comes out. Other people are. I know women with long hair, and yes, I was a woman with long hair once. Having really good pressure to get your shampoo and your conditioner out is really important. So test your showers, but again, make sure that you've got something in your tap range that the shower is then going to be matching as well. Now, if it's not the same brand, it's not matching. So say you're choosing chrome, you've got a lot more options because it's a very common material to use for tapware. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to have the exact same brand or the same range in your shower. But what it does mean is that the shape and the look and feel is similar. So as an example, you may have tapware that has got quite a square look to it or a soft square. You need to then make sure that that talks to the shower. So it might be the rail that you have that has got a squarish look, or it may be the fixtures to the wall have got a squarish look, but they need to be able to talk to each other. And that then should also go to, you can even then start thinking about your hardware, that if you've got squarish type elements with your accessories, that then your hardware should always be the same too. So the element that is on the door would be square or round. So if you're using roundish tapware, so it's got a round feel to it, it might have the pencil lever, which is really common, and it's a classic really, and that's why you see it around a lot, the pencil lever. Then you need to make sure again that the shower would have that roundish sort of finish. Then the next step is that all the bathroom accessories also then need to be in line with that look as well. So you can't have a really roundish looking tap finish, and then you've got square towel rails, hand towel rails, and then also your loo roll holder is all then really square. So again, some tap manufacturers do actually then do in the same range all the matching accessories that you need for the bathroom. Great. Some of them don't. And I know, in some instances, I don't actually particularly like the accessories that they design that matches the tapware, so we can choose something else that completely looks in keeping, but is not necessarily the same brand. So again, it's consistency here and making sure that the look and feel is consistent rather than being, all over the place. So you need to be consistent with your colours, you need to be consistent with the finish, you need to be consistent with the type of shape that you've got to make sure that that follows through in all the elements that are being used in your bathroom. It also extends then to heated towel rails. You can't have a really square looking one when everything else has got like a rounded finish. So they're the things that I wanted to cover off. Now, I have spoken about this before, but just to, cover it off here because I'm talking about taps, is that your kitchen tap doesn't need to match. I get asked this a lot. Does it need to come from the same range? No. I mean, there are very specific kitchen taps. Your requirements for a kitchen tap may be really, really specific, and they should be. It needs to function differently in a kitchen. So you might want to have a pull-out nozzle, and in the particular range that you're looking at for the rest of your bathrooms, it doesn't have that option. I think you need to be really specific about your kitchen tap. Oh, hi, Nicole. How lovely to see you. And there's Cheryl again. Great to have you on board. So it doesn't need to be the same. It may be that you have, a smidgen of, one of my favourite kitchen taps has actually got a small touch of black on the nozzle, which I don't have black anywhere else, or we may not have black anywhere else in our clients' homes, but just that tiny little touch is really nice. You need to make sure that you're looking at the functionality. Feel the tap. Go in and have a look, touch and feel them, and make sure that the way they move around, how easy are they to turn on and off? Is it clear what's hot and cold? Sometimes that wears off. I know with the Sussex range, they have it very specifically written on there. It's ingrained in it's engraved into the metal, hot and cold. That's really easy for kids. But the same with when you're getting older, levers are much easier than turning taps, just like door furniture is much easier when it's a lever than if it's turning handles. So think about that. Sometimes the look you're after means you want two separate taps, but a mixer is much, much easier. I also find with kids, it's easier for them to get the hot and cold because you're just, pulling a lever. So think about the way it needs to work, and I'd really encourage you to make sure that you're happy with how it actually turns on and off and all those sorts of things. Now, again, for your kitchen one, really, really go and test the kitchen once. How far does a nozzle pull out? Do you need a nozzle? Gone are those big, massive taps that are quite commercial and industrial looking. We don't need a tap that big, but I would always ensure that any of my clients choosing a kitchen tap would have a gooseneck. You really need it to be able to, and that's a big, swooping neck on it. It's not an arm that just sits out. Because you need to be able to get big, deep pans and pots in there. So you need that gooseneck to be able to get that stuff under and into the sink. Having one of those, flat taps for a kitchen is just really not great. The other thing to look out for are swivels. A swivel base. This is absolute gold in a laundry, that you can actually move the tap. So if you need full access to that massive tub, you can move the tap. If you need to wash the cat, wash the dog, you can move the tap so that they don't hit their head. That's also maybe something to consider for your bath, that it's actually got a swivel spout so that you can push that in, and when you're actually in the bath, particularly for kids, they're not going to knock their head. And again, for kitchens, if you've got a swivel spout and it's actually mounted, you can then move that tap so it's going between the different sinks, particularly if you've got a double or 1.5, whatever it is, that you've actually got a tap that is able to swivel so that you can get access to both sinks. You'd be surprised how many people actually choose a tap. They have it installed, it might be a cost-effective option, and then you can't actually move it between the different sinks. So make sure that you're looking out for those things as well. It's a lot more involved choosing these elements than what you think, because there's so many different choices. And it's not just the look, it is the feel, it's the functionality. How is it going to work when you get older? Having a lever pull is going to be easier. Does the range that you love have everything that you need? Many ranges won't have a diverter because a lot of people are moving away from, sorry about this fly in my eye, a lot of people are moving away from having showers over bars, so that particular range may not offer that. So there is a lot to think about, and I really encourage you to go and touch and feel. And particularly if you're using a product like a Living Bronze, really encourage our client to go and have a look at that. And it was great news because she said it's even more beautiful than what she could ever have imagined in the sample that we showed her. So that is taps and accessories in a nutshell. Again, I'm going to open it out to any questions that anyone's got. You'll notice today that I'm in a different space yet again. We very, very, very rarely have the heating on because we live in a very airtight and warm, insulated home. I'm very lucky and very privileged to live in a home like that. So I think today and yesterday was the first time we put the heater on. And it is on today because it was 3 degrees overnight. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to hang out in my open space today, do my live from the living area and be a little bit toasty. Yes, I could put it on in isolation in the office because it's zoned and I can actually just put the heating on in the office. But I thought, it's Friday, I'm going to change up my space today, and you'll see different things behind me. But you can see how sunny it is. And my gorgeous little dog sitting here thinking he's in luxury because he's inside and I haven't put him out yet. So have we got any questions today? Oh, so lovely to have you on board, Carolyn. I know we've gone through lots of these things with you. We normally have Jamie on. She's not on today, which is new because she's normally absolutely without fail listening in and asking lots of questions. So don't forget that next week we actually starting on the podcast the kitchen series, so Kitchen Design Essentials. This is going to be a program that runs well over 2 months. I've got lots of amazing special guests coming onto the show to share their insights, so it's not just going to be from me. And there's going to be lots of information about designing your kitchen, right from where should it be in your home, what are the real foundations. These are all the things that I go through with my clients. And so the Kitchen Design Essential is going to be masses of value for anyone about to embark on their kitchen renovation. So that's next Wednesday we go live with the podcast. Every Wednesday a new podcast comes out, but that particular series, that season, will start next week. So I hope you can join me. And the other thing, there is going to be a super, super special launched next week. I don't normally have special offers, but because it's the end of financial year And there's also the home builder scheme. I have actually got a very special offer, so check out your inboxes for that. It'll be out on Tuesday. It's for the online course, and it is going to be, it's an incredible special, so you don't want to miss that. And anyone that you know that is renovating or building, it's going to be super, super beneficial for them if you've already gone down that path. So I will bid you farewell. Have a fantastic weekend, and I will hopefully have you on the podcast on Wednesday. If not, I'll see you here again next Friday, 10 a.m. Bye for now.